The Banking Scene Director's Cut goes behind the scenes, sharing stories and insights to help you build the bank of tomorrow.
Welcome, Bartel Braeckman. I just had a look at your LinkedIn profile. More than 5 years now, you're responsible as department head of Open Bankinsurance. It's quite a thing, especially because you've been working on open banking much longer than that, which gives you a very good view on where we stand with open banking. I think we're now 10 years after PSD2. And looking at open banking today, do you consider it a success or is it below expectations or the initial expectations that we had 10 years ago?
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for having me. It has been a while now. I'm involved with open banking from the past. It was a very payment angle I had on those topics since a couple of years from within KBC. We are more looking at from a holistic view. So now I'm focusing on mobility related open banking cases and things that are evolving. So my view and my knowledge on the specific topic is a little bit flaw.
And from my understanding, what do these responsibilities mean concretely? Responsible for mobility, is that both from an insurance leasing parking arm, or is it more from public transport, parking, etc.? How should I look at the portfolio mobility?
Yeah, it covers the entire story. So we evolved. I think about 3 years ago, we had a similar interview when I testified about the embedded finance initiative.
Actually, it was even less, from 2024, so 2 years ago only.
2 years ago only, it seems like an eternity for me. So we really started the initiative and the team from that open banking view, that embedded finance view. We at that time had some starting partnerships in the automotive sector. KBC decided to focus on ecosystems, combine that with open banking so we can, together with the partner, create the best solutions for our customers. So that works in different directions. So embedded finance is part of it. We're now cooperating with big automotive players in Belgium who sell our finance and insurance products indeed. But also the other way around. We have in our mobile app a lot of mobility services, such as the public transport services. You can buy tickets for train, for bus, but also since almost 1 year now, we offer cars in our mobile app. So we are integrated those automotive players into the KBC environment as well. So really linking it in different directions. So to me, open banking today is really that entire view. Banks open up towards other parties, but as well other partners integrate into the banking context in order to be able at our side as well to provide the right services towards our customers. So to come back on your question, there, I think PSD2 was definitely a game changer. It made sure we could build our infrastructure. It gave a head start at the market to look at things in another way. But then along the time, you notice you have to take into account business ambitions. You have to take into account customer expectations, customer behavior, and find the best solutions that match all those aspects. Yes, it was a game changer, but maybe not what it was intended for at the start.
The use cases that you've been sharing, I'm a frequent user of quite a few of them. Buying a car, I haven't gone that far yet. But how successful have these been, and how important was the regulatory framework to build them? Because I did some research already, and if I look at the Belgian banks today, in terms of premium API offering, I think there's not one that gets even close to where KBC is today. And that makes me wonder, to what extent is it a regulatory trigger that made you go that far, or a strategic commercial trigger to go that far?
It cleared the path. The regulatory aspect cleared the path for us. I think embedded finance, and specifically in the automotive sector, it's already for 30, 40 years that car dealers are selling financing solutions as well. So there are definitely other parties who are providing these services towards those dealers. I think because of PSD2, we were obliged to foresee an API infrastructure. We were obliged to foresee other partners to be able to connect towards KBC infrastructure. So that hurdle was already taken when the opportunity arose to have the next step and make business out of these connection, out of this infrastructure that was already built at that time. So without PSD2, a firm that we would not have those successful partnerships today to be able to sell finance solutions via them, because the investments would have been too high to get started. That's for sure a link there.
What does all this say about the definition of open banking? At conferences, we often hear open banking being something similar to PSD2. I wonder, should this be limited to the regulatory aspect, or should we look at the API-based banking infrastructure at large, as, for example, Koen Adolfs also explains within the context of ABN AMRO?
Definitions is maybe something personal, or we can talk hours about it. It can be interesting discussion as well. My opinion, open banking is even bigger, because it's not only about the bank being open towards other parties. It's also increasing the banking offer with non-financial. So having other partners willing to connect with the banking or the financial environment. So if I talk about open banking, then it's even more than only the bank opening up for other parties.
Okay. Who benefits most from open banking initiatives? Would it be consumers because they get reach to much more products, or the businesses that are able to sell more, for example, or have more services again? Or
I do hope both, and I'm for sure convinced that it's only successful if both have benefits from it. Because if a business don't have benefits from open banking, then why should they invest in it? That's just by nature. And the other way around, if it's too much hassle, if a customer doesn't trust what's happening, then the customer won't use it. It won't generate the business at one side, and on the other hand, you're not making the life of the customer easier, so it won't be used. So both should benefit and need to benefit from it in order to have a successful formula.
okay.
Maybe just to add on that, and that's what we also see. Since the launch of PSD2, we really had several initiatives within KBC to be able to use the PSD2 data to make processes more straight to for our customers. They would for sure benefit from that. But then you see, as long as the process and the authentication process and so is not as flawless as they expect, too little customers make use of it, and there is no business case in further implementing such initiatives.
Next question, I'm well aware we could have a complete other interview about it as well. But looking back, what did we get right and what did we get wrong? And I think we can look at it from a banking industry perspective. So your personal opinion on what the industry did right and what they did get wrong when it comes to open banking adoption?
It's a very big question.
Yeah.
Looking at the present then and the rise of AI and our agent, it was definitely right to push on being open, or push on making sure services, products are available via a new channel, the API channel. At that time, still today, but that need to evolve further in order to be open for the new tools, the LLMs of tomorrow. So, because I believe they will interact with those interfaces as well. Not clear yet how and what exactly then should be offered by the banks. For sure, they will interact and they will find ways of being the first contact point with the end customer.
Yeah. Like overall adoption is rather limited. What could have done better to get to more open banking adoption? We often see the UK as being quite a success. In May, we had Central Bank of Brazil at our conference in Brussels. They had a completely different lens on success, on what success could be of open banking in Europe. What has failed when you look at PSD2 or open banking at large?
I'm not aware of the exact status across Europe here, so I will just take Belgium. There I have some affinity with still. I guess what went wrong is that it was just a one-way thing. It was just banks. That's why for me open banking is more than banks opening up, because there's no business case in it for the banks, for those parties. And okay, then you can oblige them to do things. But also when I look at my children, it's if I oblige them something, or I can convince them with some nice candy. So there's some benefit for them as well. Yeah, that works better. So here too, it's just perceived as a one direction initiative. And in my opinion, that's not how you should make such an initiative fly.
So we need a compensation scheme. That's interesting. I had another look at the open banking interviews that I did back in 2019, 2020, I think. And most banks were talking about how revolutionary open banking was going to become. We're now 6-7 years later, and most of these banks haven't done anything with it ever since. Not more than what was legally required. So there was definitely an expectation that it would completely open up the industry, but at the end, uptake was rather limited if people limited or organizations limit themselves to the regulatory required APIs, where KBC is clearly an exception. Do you think that PSR will solve what went wrong with PSD2? And I'm well aware it's more of a payments question than a question in the context that you're currently working on, but perhaps you have personal opinion on it. I don't know.
I did a quick check on that matter, just because it's definitely an enhancement. There are some downsides at PSD2, some things we saw, like the scalability and the many different structures or standards that arise, that was not the benefit of new businesses or new initiatives to be successful. There are some gaps that are filled in now, but still it seems like a one direction thing. So there needs to be a business case. There need to be a question in the market, pressure from customers, pressure/benefit for customers. As a bank, you can build it, and that it will be appreciated by a customer, and it's needed to keep or acquire those customers. Then you have a business case. But just doing this because it has to, or you're obliged to do it, that's not the most appealing way of doing transformation or innovation.
Compensation scheme is part of the topic of FIDA, which has been quite debate in Europe for a few years now. And yeah, I see a lot of reluctance from the industry with regards to FIDA. Also in, for example, finding speakers for to talk about it at my conferences. In your personal opinion, do we need it? And if so, do we need it in its current form?
I'm again not the expert, but given all the evolutions regarding data, the importance of data and AI, I think it's really necessary to protect the customers, to protect the individuals who are sharing their data, and that for them they can share it with confidence, that they know what is done with the data and who will be able to access it. And that needs to be done in a standard way, because nobody reads the terms and agreements and all those apps. So need to be a common knowledge on or common sense on, okay, if I just see some TNCs that look like that, then I can be confident it's according to a law. And in that sense, I think it's useful to have such a regulation.
Had an interesting or fun anecdote about it. Yesterday, I downloaded the KV Mechelen app, which this year is required to get in the stadium. And they asked consent to share data with their partners. And they listed more than 1,000 partners with whom they would share the data if I would agree. Quite awful if you have to go through that entire list.
You checked them all?
I declined.
I declined. But you're able to use the KV Mechelen app still.
Yeah. luckily so.
Because there are examples as well then that who are denying then using the app, so then it's quite difficult for sure if you're a KV fan.
Yeah. Is the emergence of AI making open finance more important or exposing how far behind the industry really is today?
That's a difficult question. I think it's a new ball game.
Yeah.
It's a new way of customers using their bank data, or customers acquiring information regarding finances. Yes, I think we need to evolve to be able for those LLMs to inform the customers in a correct way. And there, I think we have a responsibility, and to take the responsibility, it would be interesting to be able to link it to a real business case. We're still a commercial company, so I think that's the main insight. I don't believe that it proves that we are lagging on a certain point.
So you see it more as an opportunity?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Final question. Who is really driving open finance today? Is that the regulator? Is that the banks? Is it fintechs, technology companies, AI providers, or perhaps customers themselves? And given you're working for KBC, maybe how do you look at it from a KBC perspective, and how do you look at it from an industry perspective?
From a KBC perspective, we definitely believe customers are driving the open. And I'll use my definition of open banking, because it's not, we want to provide relevant solutions towards our customers, and those are not limited to bank and insurance solutions only. Given the successes we see, we notice that customers very much appreciate those broader propositions and helping them along the way.
So being advocate of the devil, it goes beyond the benefits of the bank then? Or does every business case need to have a business case for the bank as well?
Yeah. From KBC point of view, we're looking at it as a triple win. So as well, KBC, of course, as well the customer, as well our partner need to make benefit from those corporations.
Yeah.
And from a personal point of view, I really agree with that. You can't do anything where one of the parties is losing, because then it won't be successful. So it's really key to find where you can help each other and how you can be complementary in order to that each party involved can reach its objectives. So also from personal view, I really cheer to that.
All right. And from a more general industry perspective, any opinion on that?
I believe I would say that the customer, but you have, of course, the private individuals or customer behavior, but also important customers on the business side. So the efficiency and the way companies are working will put pressure or will increase demands they ask towards their financial partner. And I believe they will further put or further raise the bar in order to which data, which services that should be available within a banking context or via an open banking context in order to consume it at their favorite place.
All right. Thank you very much. I think those are all the questions I have.
Welcome.
Maybe one last, because when you talk about open banking, I have the impression that it's mostly about KBC adding more services in its platform more than the other way around. Is that correct? Or is it a wrong interpretation?
That's the correct interpretation.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.